Taking a second. Okay. And we are live from YouTube and Facebook. Hey, y'all. We about to get started here. We still in the middle of setup. So I'm going to play some tunes in. Y'all know we're going to do the intro here in a little bit. So grab what you got to grab because we about to vibe out.
Man.
Yeah. Okay.
This ain't for fame and the show ain't for show.
All right. And
Been
we're
waiting
gonna
for
live
this. I get one shot, then you
from
know I can
Instagram.
miss. I drop a song, and you know it's a hit. I said I would, then you know that I did. Right now they calling my phone. Right now they love me, it's all in their tone. Right now I'm stuck in the
And
zone.
from
Right now I feel like
Nerdy Dan, right?
Yep, Nerdy Dan Film.
Been here before, just try to be patient. You know I'm the goal. Been destined for greatness.
And we are live. Hello, and welcome to Get Into the Bag. I am your host and founder, Embryo Coleman, and this podcast is brought to you by Columbus Black and Mile. Columbus Black serves to be the primary source of communication in Columbus, Ohio. So make sure you are following them on all social media platforms. And Mile, making your life entertaining, is the next generation of software where you can curate your own experiences with just the tap of a finger. It's free, easy to use, and when you're looking for things to do, places to go, and my favorite places to eat, just Mile it. Download that Mile app today. And I just want to send a quick shout out to everybody on the live. We are at 500 followers, which is crazy. The show page. Thank y'all so much for the love. Thank y'all so much for the support. Continue to rock out with me. We have an amazing show tonight. I'm about to get my guest on the live. He is ready. He is prepared. And he is ready for some Bag Talk Tuesday. Okay. And while we're doing that, shout out to Roll Up DMP. Check out their music. Okay, make sure they know. Let me know if there's an echo, y'all. Hey, y'all.
What's up, y'all?
What's goody? This song playing is by my brother, G Ramon, one of the past guests on this show. Great music, great artist, very great individual. I love my brother, so shout out to him. The best cameraman in the land, Dirty Dan. I know that's right. Shout out to Money Mandel. And there's an echo? Okay. Let me know if y'all still hear an echo.
I come from 1 and 4, 2 straight from the mind. She gave me a life that she never seen.
Y'all still hear an
A
echo?
little bit.
Thumbs up if y'all hear echo. I mean, let me know. I don't even know where to put y'all thumbs. Let me know if y'all hear echo.
System was made against me. I watched them move until I don't even trust the people that come from the struggle with me.
Hey y'all, how was y'all Tuesday? Talk to me.
I've never been afraid because I know that I got it.
Talk to me. My Tuesday was good. A slow work day. So I'm okay with that. It's better. Thank y'all. Let me know if y'all hear it again. What's up, y'all? I missed y'all. It's been a minute. Even though it's been like a week, but I'm missing y'all.
Is my live on IG going in and out?
Hold on. Let me turn this down. Say that again, Dan.
Is my live on IG going in and out? Like, is my screen locking going in and out?
It was for a second, but you're good now.
All right. I had to make sure because even though I got it on live and everything, it could be going in and out. I just gotta make sure.
No, you're good. Dan got the whole setup, y'all. Okay, this came ready.
Man, I'm a photographer. I brought all my lights. You feel me?
Lighting and all. It's the lighting for me.
That's what it's all about. Shoot, we gotta shine bright. That's the only way we gonna succeed is if we shine bright.
Okay, come on.
Don't matter how humble we are with it, shorty. Let me park my brakes before I start dropping all this young man rumble talk real quick.
Well, it is Showtime. Yes, hey, Taco Tuesday. Y'all know where to be and where to go after this. Okay, one moment. Then make sure you turn down one of your devices. Because it's
Okay,
echoing.
okay.
But don't mute. Because if you mute, we can't hear you.
All right, bet.
Okay, that sounds. It's a little echo on my end. So I'm going to turn this down. All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Get Into the Bag. As I was saying, I really did miss y'all. Your girl needed a break, though. I was traveling, and I was not trying to get burnt out, and I felt myself getting burnt out. So, you got to take a break, right? Right. Well, I have the best cameraman in the land, my special guest, Daniel Ross, better known as Nerdy Dan, my special guest tonight. Hey, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I can't complain. How you doing?
I can't complain either, Dan. It's a good day. I'm blessed. Another day of life. So I ain't mad at all.
Amen. That's how I gotta be.
You ready for a good show?
Yeah, I'm ready for a good show. Let's talk this bag talk. This what I've been waiting for. Come
on, let's talk about it. Well, before we get into the real root of the conversation, we have to start with introductions. So give us an intro to who Dan the man is.
What's up with it, y'all? My name is Dan Ross. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. I am from Uptown Cincinnati, Ohio. Proud representative. You already know, photographer and videographer, CEO of the notorious Nerdy Dan Films, LLC.
Period. And why did you say Uptown? Is there like a difference? Because, I'm not from Cincy.
So there is a quite difference. You got your predominantly black, like how in Cleveland, y'all got down the way, up the way?
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Got you.
It's
okay.
It's the same but similar thing.
You from Uptown, you said?
Yeah.
Period. Uptown Cincy repping. And I love to do a break the ice segment because we got to break this ice, even though it's not a lot of ice. I know Dan, me and Dan is like cool for whatever. But a question I got for you, Dan, when was the last time you tried something new? Whether it's a food, whether it's an activity. When's the last time you tried something new?
Last time I tried something new, probably would have been, I'd probably say when I was sure, there's been I've done a lot of stuff, and it's hard for me to even keep track. But I'd say pretty much just bartending. Actually, I actually just became a bartender at one of my jobs, actually. So I've been learning how to bartend and everything, and it's pretty interesting. It's pretty fun learning how to bartend, learning how to mix, learning how to stir, learning how to put stuff on the rocks the right way. So it's definitely quite an adventure, just getting a challenge, just getting to learn how to do that for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Another way of getting to that bag. I love that. And I hope that they tip you well.
Oh, they are. Come visit me at Double Take Bar and Grill whenever y'all want to out in Columbus, Ohio. I may be from Cincinnati, but I reside in Columbus now.
And y'all heard where to find him, okay? When y'all go to that bar, y'all make sure y'all tip y'all bartender, okay? Tip them with love, show him some love. But I love that. So you trying bartending, you liking it?
Yep, I like it for the most part. It's very interesting. I will definitely say it's very interesting getting to work with people, getting to work on my social skills a lot more, getting to basically it gives me an opportunity to network as well. So I also get an upper hand within doing that too.
Right. I heard bartenders make some money too. So I mean, let me know if y'all hiring.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
But I'm all about goal setting. I'm all about being intentional, right? And I would love to know one of your personal goals and one of your professional goals for this month.
One of my personal goals is actually to have more in my savings account than I have had within the past 2 years. Real talk, past 2 years. Mm-hmm. Being able to have that financial literacy that I wasn't able to have at first before I transitioned into 25. For the most part, 2 years later, now in 2022, I'm 26, learning the ins and outs of financial responsibility with being my own adult as well.
Yeah, it is a learning experience for sure.
Most definitely. Definitely is.
And how about professionally? What is one of your goals professionally?
Professionally, I want to be able to expand my business to a couple other cities this month. For instance, I want to be able to expand my services to Cleveland, Toledo. And I also want to be able to get out of state attention and potentially get the eyes of some contracts in New York, hopefully, if that's something in the case.
Yeah.
Or somewhere where media is really popping, going on. I want to be able to put myself in a position to where I can be in the mainstream mix to at least a certain extent.
Okay, Dan, because he like, we about to expand. Okay. I love to hear that. Well, we're going to get right into it. Gotta know, what made you even want to pursue photography in the first place?
Well, it's crazy how it came, actually. I'll be completely honest with you. It came at a random time. So originally my first 2 years before of college, we're gonna get into my college journey in a minute. But my first 2 years, I went to Miami of Ohio, and originally I went to school for athletic training, but then after 2 weeks, I did what I did and I switched my major. I switched my major because I knew I was very good at writing and I knew I was very sociable, but yet I still hadn't came out my shell. So I became a journalism and media major. Okay. With that, I got a job as a student worker. The first ever job I got with working with cameras was with ESPN3 at the age of 19, literally working with ESPN3 at the age of 19, IMG TV. And all the games were streamed all over the world from Miami of Ohio, covering all the home volleyball games, all the hockey games, all the basketball games. And then I also did a lot of stuff with football as well while I was trying to attempt my walk-on process fully and successfully. But things happened, and hey, backup plans happen years later.
Mm-hmm. And it's good that you figured out in them 2 weeks that wasn't for you. Because, I mean, some people, they get to their senior year and they're like, I don't want to do this.
Even though I had to connect, like my mom worked in health field my whole life. So that's all I knew. But I really, to be honest, I have too much of an imagination to sit there and want to learn every bone in the body.
Okay. And that's tons of studying. Did you have like a connect for the ESPN or did you like apply? How did that come about?
I applied for a student job because I was working my way through school. Actually, I had my sophomore year when I was 19, I actually had 4 jobs in a semester during the semester.
Wow.
I literally had 4 jobs. Literally, I was a bar back. I did security at a couple of the bars. I did the video stuff, and then I also did a lot of work with the football team, and I also worked with a church out there as well. So I was busy. I was working my way through school also while getting financial aid and partial scholarships at a point in time.
Wow. So you have 4 jobs at the same time? Like this is not overtime?
Like not overtime, like literally had 4 different jobs. I've always been somebody who always kept a job, kept a stream of income, always made sure I had something on standby because I always had a work ethic, natural hustle hand, always knew how to work my wrist and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's a great work ethic. When did you sleep? Did you have time for rest?
Yeah, I got time for rest. Shoot, I make time for rest. That's always hey, my pillow, the cold side of my pillow can be my best friend at the end of a long, hard day of work.
Mine too. So your passion for photography, where would you say that it comes from?
It really comes from, this is where I can remember. I remember growing up as a kid, my grandfather used to have a lot of knickknacks in his basement. Like he used to always pull out these old cassette tapes. And he had these old little film cameras, and like for show and tell, I used to take them, even though they didn't have film in them. I used to always love the camera. That's the one thing I can remember. It was an Olympus film camera. He had a couple of them, and they didn't have film in them. And I used to just always play with the cameras. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite things. And also, like when the old MySpace selfies, we're gonna kick it back.
Come on, MySpace.
MySpace selfies. Remember how we used to always have a digital camera and take the picture in front of the mirror?
Yeah, that's taking me way back, the nostalgia.
Like, that's taking me back to the You're a Jerk days and everything, and the LOL smiley face days.
Right, come on, new boys.
So, yeah, that's where it started off from when I was 4 and transitioned as time went on as I got older for the most part. And then surprisingly in 2017, it just came to me like I came home, I left Miami of Ohio, had some little hiccups. Like I had just started at UC. I was thinking I was just so crazy. I was commuting my first semester. I was living with one of my close friends. He lived in the projects, and we was just all just sitting there thinking, just literally thinking. And I was like, bro, I want to pick up this camera, bro. I don't know what it is, but I miss being behind that camera, and I want my own stuff. Excuse my French, but I literally said I want my own shit. This was 5 years ago. I was at my lowest mentally, and then so when my first financial aid check came, the first thing I did was I went to Walmart and I got me a Sony PowerShot camera that ran AA batteries, literally. I got a point and shoot camera, and I hit up one of the club promoters that I was real cool with. Actually, he was my cousin, to be honest. Hit him up and was like, cuz, I'm trying to get my name out here. Want to make a couple little dollars, want to try to get this, down the other going. Boom. So I did that. And that's where it originally started. And I was going by Do You Images because the crew that I was rolling with, my whole group, we was the Do You guys. We had our own merchandise.
The Do
You apparel and everything. Like, but in Cincinnati, like during this time, our main swag was to have the glitter letters on our local clothing lines and everything. Okay. So I had, and my name back at home was Rose. So I had D Rose, the cameraman, on the back of it and everything. So I had a black and green one, and we just all, that's just pretty much how it all got started for the most part, was just being in a blink of an eye. That's where me transitioning from doing it in school to having a slight hiccup. So, and then randomly just thinking about it one day, because I was on the fence. I still wanted to play sports, all that. And then it just came to me, and I just was like, I fell in love with it from the first day.
And I love, go ahead.
And it was just on and popping, like I said, like it was just so crazy. Like, man, it's just a lot, man. This, woo, you got me started, fam. You already got me started going on.
No, I love it. And I can tell that you're passionate about it. I mean, I worked with you for Classic of Columbus, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I could just tell how passionate you were about your work in those moments. And I love how when you got money, because it's so easy in college, when you got that refund check, it's easy to blow it. It's easy to go shopping. It's easy to, if you wanted to, I guess, buy your supplies or whatever with it. But you actually used it to sow into your passion and your talent. So I really respect that. And quick shout out, Columbus Arts Festival is Columbus African Festival, my apologies, is on this live. So shout out to them.
Shout out to the Columbus African Festival. Much love.
Much love. I love to see that. So, you know, you bought the camera, you started taking it seriously. When did you go to school for photography when you went to Miami or not Miami? You were at Cincy by then.
Yeah, so when I got to Cincy, so I had a lot of journalism credits. I had a lot of English credits. So I switched over to communication so I could get out quicker, because I was in like, it would have been my third year. Boom, I was trying to get out quick. I was trying to do what I could so I could get out.
Right.
That was my main thing. I was trying to do what I could so I could get out, because it was like, dang, I wasn't playing ball or nothing. And crazy to say, like, it was during a time like that. And with my camera, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If it wasn't for my camera, I wouldn't have joined the fraternity that I pledged. That wouldn't have led me to find what I did my research on.
Tell me about that.
So one night I'm gonna first be honest with you. I'm gonna let y'all know this. If y'all ain't Greek, discretion is one thing that's key. So I'm gonna let y'all know I abide by rules of discretion. If you know me on the Greek tip, I move very solid. But back to the story. So boom, I'm at this club called Levels downtown in Cincinnati. It's a party. I had just did my research on IOTA because they had been coming back in the spring. But mind you, I had just transferred in the semester before. So I was at the Blue Ash campus. But mind you, when you at Blue Ash with UC, you could also cross on main campus. So boom. Oh mind you, they had already had a spring line, but the ADP of the line was there at the show. I mean, at the club. He was at the club and he had his line jacket on and he ended up being my dean. This is who ended up being my dean. And I approached him. I was like, bro, take some pictures with throwing your sign up. I was like, 30 y'all mean if I ain't do this, But I was like, throw
I
your
would hope
hand
not.
sign. I was like, throw your 1-2 up. And I was like, bro, my name Dan. I was like, I gave him my business card. I was like, I go to UC, this, that, and the other, pulled him to the side, chopped it up with him, and then boom. Sent him the pictures, and then guess what? The next few days, he called me asking me, boom. And that's how, from then and on, did my
That's how that got
APN
connected.
Pro show. And boom, after that, that's how that happened.
Wow.
That's how I made that connection. With my camera done opened multiple doors for me. When I say my passion done really open doors for me, my passion really done open doors for me. And I genuinely am grateful for that.
And I love that for you. And let people know, they might not know what org you in. Shout out your org.
Man, I am the last to be created, the first to be hated, the Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, founded at the Morgan State University in 1963 by 12 brown gold brothers. You already know how I'm coming. Hey, I'll let to the good brothers of 6'3".
Let them know, Dan. Let them know. Well, shout out to all the bros. Love the Iotas. They've shown nothing but love. I honestly don't know a lot of y'all, but the ones that I know are super cool. So maybe
appreciate you.
Of course. So me and Dan, y'all, if y'all didn't know, we met at OU, right? And Dan just talked about being at Miami. He talked about being at Cincy, but Dan did not say that he's basically like half Bobcat for real, because he was at OU all the time.
But high key.
High key. Yeah,
like
half Bearcat.
Almost had the whole. Literally almost was the charter member of the colony there and everything. Like, yeah, literally high key.
Yeah, he was literally half Bobcat, half Bearcat. If you went to OU in the Black community, Dan, you thought Dan went there for real because he was just like always there. So what did you love about OU? Like, what kept you coming back?
It was just the welcoming vibe for sure. I definitely say, let me shout out two of my close friends. These two really opened a lot of doors for real for this all to be happening, for this episode to even be in position to happening. My boys, they're accused, Keith Key and Javon Hagan, two very successful young brothers, man, within the Black community as well. One with a Super Bowl ring and one overseeing one of the biggest Black-owned commercial real estate companies in the country. I want to give them their flowers because without them, this wouldn't have been happening. And it was just the welcoming vibe from the Black community and just how within that small area where it was a culture shock. It's in when I went to Miami, we was close to Cincy. Like my hood was 35 minutes away from Oxford. Mm-hmm. But when you go into Athens, in the middle of the Appalachian and Hillbilly Hill, like literally, different. Just to see how close the Black community was, even everything from a T was just amazing just to see that fellowship in that congregation, because it was something that I felt like wasn't there at UC or Miami, because they're like you either in the loop or you ducked off. Like at OU, you're in the loop even if you duck off.
That's so true. That's very true that you say that. I love that you made that point. Shout out to JD Bennett, my boy Dan. So would you say if you had to do it all over again, would you go to OU or would you be at Cincy still? What would you say? And you're not hurting nobody's feelings.
I would go to OU, but I would have pledged Iota through OSU. I ain't gonna perp to you.
Okay.
I would have went to OU and I would have been the first Iota at OU. I ain't gonna perp to you.
Well, it's all love, Dan. We absolutely love you at OU. I mean, you've done a lot and you've been a friend to a lot of people in the OU community. So shout out to you for that. What would you say? It
definitely opened up a network though. Like I'm definitely gonna say though, outside of that Greek tip, just being at OU in general, like from the time when I had my own little spot up there and everything, and even my road trips, just getting the opportunity to just fellowship with all of y'all, getting to congregate with all of y'all, just getting to feel included, like just getting to feel involved and people wanting me to be involved. It's a difference between you just getting to be there and people wanting you there.
Right.
There's places where you go, where you don't, where you're wanted and where you're tolerated. And the one thing that I felt there was I felt wanted. And with me feeling wanted, I knew it was going to be doors to open up stuff for my future. With me, it's not always about what you know. It's about who you know.
Right.
And the people who I know really have opened doors for me. For instance, Bees. I could definitely give Malcolm Brown his flowers.
Shout out to Bees.
And he did a lot for the OU Black community. I could definitely say that.
For sure.
Ron has opened doors. Keith has opened doors. You have opened doors. Your line sisters have opened doors. All the other chapters have opened doors in certain ways. Other people and other orgs within the Black community have opened doors within other ways. And I appreciate that.
Of course.
Shout out to the alumni, because guess what? Your boy coming to bars.
So Dan, you heard it here. Special announcement. It's an exclusive. Dan the man will be at bar. Okay. So if you see him, you already know it's on, it's live, it's on and popping. And shout out to Keith, shout out to Malcolm as well, both of my past show guests. A lot of love for the both of them and doing great things in the Columbus community. So, we talked about you getting to college. We talked about your passion, really like getting started in college through college. What were you doing after you graduated?
Man, I was having hiccups. I graduated in 19. So I was living in Athens. After I left Athens, after that first semester, I moved to Colorado for a couple months right before COVID.
You did, right?
I was out in Denver. Out there, I learned how I bear climbed the mountains and stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't use no harnesses, no helmets, no nothing but a wood stick.
Literally, you was climbing mountains?
Literally learned how to scale bare hand and foot climb mountains with no spikes, no nothing. Got to the top and everything.
Pause, because Dan, is that something that you knew you was gonna go to Colorado and do, or did you get there and meet somebody and that happened?
When the people I went with, when I first went out there, it was a crazy situation. It was funny how it happened, but we not gonna get into all them details because it was like worse than King Von's crazy story.
Okay, so Dan, you're climbing mountains in Colorado. What else?
So I was climbing mountains in Colorado, and when they took me, it was just I had an adrenaline rush, and they were like, "Bro, we do this all the time. We scale these mountains and everything. Like out there, like people really are in tune and do that type of stuff. And they're also big on meditation out there, and they're very in tune with a lot of the divine spirits out there. Like so, while I was out there, like I learned how to really reconnect with God and everything as well, though, too, despite all the hiccups, all the LOL moments, all the fun getting to climb mountains and just getting to be out west. I really learned how to connect with the Holy Spirit for real, for the most part, and just learn how to be in tune with myself right before COVID. How did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
So going out there, I'm not gonna lie, I lost a lot. Like going out there was pretty much my humbling experience that I need to knock me on my ass. For the most part, I got out there, didn't know what I was doing, got into a sit, went out there like a chicken with my head cut off, no money, no nothing, except for my car. Went out there unprepared. Housing issues weren't all the way there. So I was making my money, doing odd jobs, getting my rooms, this, that, and the other, stacking it up. Then I lost my car. So after I got laid off from one of my jobs, I was out and about looking for another job. My car started jerking. I had a 05 Volkswagen Jetta. I ain't gonna lie, I paid $450 for this car back in Cincy. But I rebuilt the engine and I drove it all the way to Colorado and then headed for my first month out there.
Wow.
Next thing you know, I crashed into a fence in front of a church. I black out for like 5 minutes. I ain't gonna lie. Call me crazy, but at least you call me. But I guess this was the moment when I realized that I lost it all for the most part. I was 19 hours away from home. I was damn near homeless. Had a little bit of bread in my pocket. I had a couple bros out there who looked out, and by the grace of God, one of my bros was able to drive when he was on his way back to Illinois for the holiday. He was able to bring me back and detour past Illinois to Cincinnati just to bring me back right before COVID even became a topic of discussion or a huge shutdown. Only when it was probably like 4 people that headed it. But that was where I realized, that's where I got knocked down where I needed to get knocked down and be able to repent and give my life to God the way that I needed to give my life to God. Because I've had a lot of confusion with religion. I've done let my mind go scatter at times. I done been lost at times. I done been weary at times. I done self-neglected myself to a high extent before. And that was and that day and those situations that happened from there on out was the things that knocked me down because I really thought I was that. I ain't gonna lie. Me being in college made me think I was that nigga. But me, when I first stepped into that real world, really hit me in my face and really broke my spirit down. Broke it down to the point where I needed to be so that I could be here to get the testimonies and drop the gems about my passion today.
And I really appreciate the transparency. I think that's a really good segment too, into talking about mental health, right? Because you're super passionate about mental health. I know you were used to be very outspoken on social media about just being people checking in on people, checking in on you. So why are you so passionate about mental health? Is it coming from your situation? You know what that's like? What would you say?
So like growing up, I'm my mom's only child. I'm the youngest of 3 on my dad's side. I didn't meet my dad's side till I was about 10 years old for the most part. I built a relationship. Yeah, I grew up with my mom's side. So typical mom's side is the bougie side, daddy's side is the ratchet side. So I got the best of both worlds. Like I ain't gonna lie. When it came to my daddy's side, I felt like 50 Cent off Get Rich or Die Trying because I was the one who poured. I was like 50 Cent. I poured water on my cousin so I could have my own spot to sleep.
Wow.
When I used to stay over there, it was like that growing up. But I'm grateful for those experiences. But the reason I'm big on mental health is because I know what it's like to be an underdog at one. I know what it's like to have to grow up quick and be independent, having to deal with loss back to back to back, having to transition, having to uproot, being that young adolescent who's trying to speak up, but really doesn't see that nobody has time for them at the time because they're unable to grieve on their own. When my grandma died unexpectedly when I was 11 years old, 6 days after my birthday, and we had this was my first stint at mental health, and the reason I strive to make sure people are good with mental health is because we had to uproot. My grandma was my world. She was my best friend. My granddaddy had Alzheimer's. My mom had to quickly transition into moving and taking care of him. I was getting in trouble in school. I had just transferred to Winton Woods where my alma mater, my high school alma mater, also 2021 state champs in football, but love my Warriors. But I was in trouble in school a lot when I first got to Winton Woods and everything. I was getting in trouble alone. People didn't understand me. I went through a lot of bullying, especially being a new kid in school, new to the district. Just felt like all my cousins was in older grades, so I just felt like alone because I didn't have nobody around at the time. And it drove me to a point of where I had trauma of feeling alone and feeling like I was less, even when I had respect going into high school and going into college. I used to let my past trauma trigger me in situations which would cause me to go weary and to feel like I was less. And that's why I strive for mental health, because I never want to see anybody feel like they're less of a person, because it's been times where I done almost pulled the plug on my life. And I strive for people to call that 1-800 number or call somebody or reach out to somebody. Don't use social media as your journal. You can make an SOS call, but social media is not your diary.
Right. Who would you say you call on when you need help? I feel like everybody needs at least one person in your life.
True. God bless God bless that I still got this woman alive. I'll make that call. I'll dial that 513 number and call my mom in the blink of an eye just to get it off my chest for the most part, because I feel like she definitely, even though we have our agreements, our disagreements, just her words are confirmation. Her words are strong confirmation that are very affluential and very, very just driving for the most part. My mom's her words are very driving. And it's crazy to say that whenever she says something, I let it sometimes go in one ear and out the other. But like they say, God sends messages to angels in threes through trinities. Ironically, sometimes I always end up hearing three people telling me something similar to what my mom was telling me. It's confirmation for what she was telling me when I was going through that situation. And it comes random.
So you call your mama. And I'm happy we're having this conversation because, I mean, to be honest, a lot of men, especially Black men, it's not easy to admit their traumas or their dark places in their lives. I thank you for being so transparent about that. And I would love for you to give a message, your best advice to anybody who might be struggling through a dark time right now. What would you tell them for encouragement?
Whatever you're going through right now, you're going to get through it. Just know that this is all temporary and that it's all mind over matter for the most part. If you want change, you'll go get change. And when you're ready for that change, don't look back. Don't look back on the past. Don't dwell on the past. Don't give a care about what he say, she say. Don't care who looking. Don't care what they thinking. Just keep on striving and being you and being true to your heart. Because at the end of the day, you got this. You got this. You got the cards in your hand to lay it down and holler blackjack. It's right there.
Come on.
Your race to 21 is already there in your hand. It's just up to you to put it down on the table.
That's some really good advice, Dan. If y'all felt that, make sure y'all put that in the comments because that was really, really motivational. I know that was motivational for me because things happen. Life be lifing. It be lifing hard. So definitely, although these dark times are temporary, and I would also just like to add to that to surround yourself with a community that you trust. It sounds like you have some really good people you can call on in your corner. So just surround yourself with people that you can trust and call on that have your best interest at heart. Okay. I love it. Thank you for that, Dan. So would you say is there anything that you would change about your personal journey this far?
No, because can't nobody else walk in the shoes that I'm walking in, and I love them completely. Shoot, even when my feet get blisters, I love this journey. Shoot. It ain't a lot. Hey, I wouldn't give up me for the world because, hey, I'm a real individual and I love it.
Come on. He like, I love it here. I love being Dan.
And anybody, hey, and this place is open to and my door is open to anybody that love Dan. Real talk. If you ever want to sit down, talk business, build, if you just even need a safe place or advice just to move your pawns forward on your chessboard, my door is always open. That's just the type of person I am. I love building bridges. That's one of my passions. I've done a lot. That everybody will say, Dan is Dan.
Dan is Dan.
Is build bridges. And that's the reason I would never change who I am, because my story is phenomenal. And without the story that I got, I don't think that I'd be able to build the bridges that I'm capable of building to this day.
Come on. Dan said, I love it here. And can't nobody be Dan because Dan is Dan. Well, let's talk business, Dan. That was a nice segment to talk about just the personal and the emotional aspect behind you and, who you are as a person in your journey. Tell me a little bit about Nerdy Dan and what inspired the name? Where did that come from?
So I used to always be ashamed of being called a nerd growing up because I always was smart, even though I got in trouble. I was the smart kid who got in trouble for people giving him a hard time. But I always had the good grades and stuff though. And for the most part, like I just always been different though. And nerdy comes from pretty much just being yourself, self-expression. doing stuff that other people think is weird or off the wall. The one thing about me that I will say that a lot of people are afraid to do in society, which is also something that leads back into mental health. A lot of people don't know how to be themselves and they wear a mask. They call me is nerdy because I'm expressing myself and I'm not wearing a mask.
You embracing yourself just authentically as you are. You get
This is a life. This is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lifestyle. This just ain't no business. This just ain't how I pay my bills. This is a lifestyle. When I say passion over poverty, I mean that.
Come on. Passion over poverty.
Now you got me started. Classes now in session. Let's get NWO into full effect. We getting now this the talk I'm ready for.
Yeah. Now what's the goal of Nerdy Dan Films?
The goal with Nerdy Dan Films is pretty much, for the most part, to be the biggest Black-owned soul media outlet to start up, for the most part, to be the first soul media outlet, Black-owned soul media outlet to have international recognition amongst no other, for the most part.
Wow.
To be able to build bridges, to be able to connect, to be able to see stuff from the third eye perspective in a way that nobody has ever seen it through, and building the connections based off of character. All my connections are built off my character. That's how I will get my bag, is based off my character.
Come on. He said that's how I'm getting to the money. I'm the money. I love to hear it. So would you say, your goal is to expand internationally. What are you doing to make that happen right now?
I'm promoting, I'm hitting up fan pages, I'm learning algorithms. I'm doing everything that I can day by day, just so that I can learn how to build those connections internationally. Whenever I'm going to concerts, different events, introducing myself, exchanging contact information with all the recording artists, platinum artists that I've worked with, just putting myself in that forefront position, in taking constructive criticism on how to do this, how to do that, from experienced experts that have been in certain places within the media field. For instance, the music industry, the sports industry, food industry, whatever industry that I'm in, working with, I always have a connection that has that exposure, has that notoriety. Yeah. So I'm putting, my network is my net worth. Like I said, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Absolutely. And it looks like, I think this is your mama. I think your mama's on the live, Miss Sheila Ross.
What's up, dudes? What's up?
Hey, Miss Ross. Thank you for tuning in. Your son is phenomenal. Okay. And speaking of recording artists, because I saw that you've been working, Dan. I saw some pictures of Lil Scrappy. I saw some pictures with Joel Santana. I even saw the new hot artist right now, Glorilla. Talk about them experiences. Like, how did that even, Glorilla specifically, how did that come about?
So, like I said, the Lil Scrap. So we're gonna take it back to October with Lil Scrappy. So, okay. My homeboy Reno Chapo out of Cincinnati, one of my close friends that I'm real close with back at home, PM Entertainment and Married to the Game is his labels. But he hit me up. We were originally supposed to go to San Bernardino to do the Cali Music Fest with T Grizzly and a couple other artists a couple weeks before. But he was like, so everything got messed up last minute. So he was like, I'm about to go to the A and do a video with Lil Scrappy and them. He's like, I'll write this off for you, and you come down there with me. All this paid for, boom, this in your pocket. I bet. So I'm like, all right, go down to Atlanta at the end of October, and we do a video, have me shoot the behind the scenes and everything. So I got to do the behind the scenes for the music video. Got to go to, this was my favorite part. Let me get started. I got to go to a studio where I got to go to Astro Studios, where almost every song that we listening to right now has been recorded. Astro World was recorded there. Champions was recorded there. Wins and Losses, My Turn, Dolph 100 Shots, R.I.P. Man, it was a whole lot of different albums recorded there. It was all platinum albums all over the wall and everything.
This place is a place you need to like visit. If you into music, like this is a very big place.
And so when we did that, we also Lil Zane was in the studio with us too, kicking it because this was during the prime hype of BMF on Stars. So he was getting his notoriety gained back a lot more through BMF Stars and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was there. And then we also went to T.I.'s I'm Serious 20th anniversary party at Revel. And we got to be in the section with T.I. and a lot of other celebrities. His wife was there. I got to capture content there for the most part. It was going crazy, like literally getting the beat in the same section as these people that I grew up watching spit bars
right
in my grandma's basement on BET, getting in trouble watching them late night. Like them being the reason my grandparents got rid of cable, like just like my granddaddy is a deacon emeritus, so he was
he
like,
said,
I don't like that stuff. Watch them funny pictures. He used to call cartoons pictures. Watch them funny pictures is what he used to say. So just pretty much getting to be or do that with artists who my peoples used to say, you just in your imagination. You ain't about to do that. You ain't about to do that. Just to see that moment, that was the first moment that I realized that my dreams were possible. Even before then, getting to be on the stage with Boosie and Dayton, but it was nothing like that because I got to go to Atlanta and kick it in their hood, got to go to their restaurants, just I got the whole thing. It was just a whole fiasco of a weekend, and ironically, a couple of my Delta specials were down there the same weekend. We all got to link up, and like it was just a phenomenal weekend that when I first realized that, like, boom, my break coming. That was my first real exposure to the industry the way I needed it, and it was phenomenal. From now to go on to this to doing the classic for Columbus, getting to work with you. When we had a field day.
That was a time. We had a time.
Like from getting to do work with Vivica, Cheryl Miller, Omarosa, Big Moochie, Clark Kellogg, Devin Green, all those people. Shout out to Miss Lisa for really opening doors for us. On that, me, you, and Malcolm really had the time of our lives really doing that. And that it was good because right then I could say I was with my Bobcat fam doing what we do best.
Yes, you are. So, you know what? And I love that you said that in that moment you realized that your dreams were possible, because ain't no better feeling than feeling that. Like you like, wow, like I made it. People said that I could not do this and look at me like in the atmosphere of it going on right now. Like that is an amazing feeling.
Also, but yeah, definitely was from, and there's been a lot of other instances in that occasion from, for instance, when my first industry big blue check artist I did was 50 Cent. At the end of the shoot, like 50 Cent literally gave me a whole, I still got the bottle right here next to me in the unopened and everything, bottle of his champagne.
Wow.
I'm saving that till I get married. But
come on.
like I'm saving it till I get married. 50 bought it for me, shorty, but it's still mine. But I got a 50 Cent. 50 Cent gave me a bottle of his champagne and literally looked me in the eyes and got me up. And I was, for some reason, I don't know what it meant, but it was just moving from getting to work with Jadakiss and like literally be able to directly tell these people in their eyes, I hope you know I'm what's next.
Come on.
It's something different.
I'm amazed.
And stand firm on it. It's something different. From getting to work with Vivica A. Fox, getting that exposure, from doing all of that stuff with Classic for Columbus, really gave me a key to a whole nother door that I didn't even expect to happen within 2 years of licensing. To see what I done built up in a city that I'm not even from,
right,
in a forefront event hosted by that city in the state capital, it really lit a fuel to my fire to let me know that I really got something going. And to go on the Joel Santana, Joel Santana and Chris Brown are two of my favorite artists, and the reasons I love music the way I love music today. Mm-hmm. Those are my two favorite artists. I ain't gonna lie. It's Joel Santana and Chris Brown. And to get to do Joel's content and to give him my business cards and just really get to work with him, chop it up and get to really work with my favorite hip hop artists of all time is just different. Like, because one of my favorite songs that I listen to every morning when I wake up by his is off his What the Game Been Missing album. It's called Rumble, Young Man Rumble. He said, I was taught be smart, stay humble. I was taught stay hard, don't fumble. He was like, I was taught stay hard. I can't even do it right now.
It's because you on live. That's why.
I was taught in this concrete jungle, rumble, young man, rumble. My adrenaline's so built up. Woo-wee. It's a good one, man. Like, but just being able to really experience that rumble, young man, rumble experience that I've got to experience within doing that, just hearing, like, call me crazy, but at least you call me. Just getting to hear, just hearing that beat drop and them acoustics and them trumpets from that song play in my head every time I'm snapping my camera. Like, that's all I'm hearing in my head is that song the whole time. I'm doing it because it's letting me know that I'm going somewhere. Right. I felt like I knew I was going somewhere. And then from G to the L to the
O, beat blow.
Man, this was something different though. Like, getting to do Glorilla was definitely something different because I ain't never really got to do nothing with like female artists except for one more, Enchanted from 1017. She was my first.
Oh, Enchanted, yeah.
Enchanting was my first. So I have more than that. Like, I'm gonna just shout them out. I'm gonna shout out Vito, DJ Chose, YNJ, Louis Ray. I'm gonna shout out Bobby V, who was my first ever. And I got that after 2 weeks of being out here. Shout out Boozy, because I've done work with you in the vicinity, been on the stage working with you. Like, the Rotimi from doing him at the Ohio Black Expo and getting the exposure and credentials from them as well is just top tier. But just getting to do Glorilla was just something different. And it put me in a transitional phase because all the other people that we've worked with are fairly older. They're icons already.
Right.
Glorilla is what's trending. And if you think about it, what's in our demographic, I'm 26. Our target market predominantly is 18 to 30. Everybody in the 18 to 30 market, even younger than that, is saying F-R-E-E. Like,
come on. It's the song of the summer, for real.
It definitely is. And like, to work with people who work with Billboard artists, working with Billboard artists is very much different than what I thought it was. Like, I thought you got to treat them like they're God or something, but they're regular people just like us at the end of the day.
Was she cool? Like, did you meet her?
Yep, I was right there with her. She used my lighter and everything.
That's right. She was cool.
She used my lighter and everything. She used my Snoop Dogg lighter joint. I'm not gonna lie, and I was happy as heck.
Well, that is such an experience, and those pictures turned out good too. I saw them pictures there.
Thank you, Bam. You know I appreciate it.
Do me a favor and try to adjust your camera a little bit because your video kind of has been going in and out. And while you're doing that, I want to make sure that the audience has time. If y'all had any questions at all, make sure y'all put them in the chat. Dan has been shouting out people literally like this whole time, which I absolutely love. It just shows how many people has had an impact on his life and how he has impacted theirs. So we're going to get into give them their flowers in a little bit. But if you have any questions at all, make sure you are dropping them in the comments box. And my question for you, Dan, the camera still is a little shoddy, but it's good on YouTube. It's good on YouTube and Facebook. On Instagram, it's a little pixelated. But if you can still hear me, my question for you would be, what is one of the biggest things you've learned, having your business and operating in it? And what is one thing that you're still learning?
One thing that I've learned is how to know my worth, how to stand firm on my worth, how to run a business thoroughly, how to deal with notorieties, write-offs, dealing with tax forms, 1099 forms, learning how to independently contract, just pretty much learning how to network, how to be social, how to be vocal, how to stay focused, dedicated, determined, and be on my and just how to hold myself accountable and how to deadline because it's not it's not like you being graded. You getting paid. This is how I pay my bills.
Right.
This is how I put a roof over my head. This is how I plan to leave what I'm leaving for my kids. So when it comes to that, and I say this with honor, I'm the last man in my family with my original family last name that has something, and I don't have no kids yet or nothing. So it's up to me to leave a legacy. I take this serious because I have a legacy that I'm leaving behind with this. This is more than just, oh, I'm taking pictures. Oh, I'm about to go do this. Oh, she about to turn around, click. Oh, I'm about to go record this person in the hood and go viral. This is more than that. This is, oh, stay down because I'm building some generational wealth right here.
Yes. And what is one thing you think you're still learning? Like you haven't gotten the answer yet. But
one thing that I'm still learning, I'm a master with a camera for sure, but all cameras have different functions.
Right.
Every camera is not the same. So one thing that I'm learning is how to use different cameras every day. Different brands have different functions, different things that you got to work with, different equipment. Right now, I'm learning how to fly a drone. I just got my first drone.
Come on.
So be on the lookout for drone services to be coming within the next 6 to 8 months, and be on the lookout for a lot of other stuff in those aspects as far as gimbal work, working with crane stabilizers, Ronin stabilizers. Mm-hmm. Just be working with a lot of different stuff. We got also learning how to project manage is definitely something that has been a challenge for the most part, because with running this business, you can't be scatterbrained. You can't run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You just can't do stuff off the limb. You can't just sit there and wing it. You can wing it sometimes because this is a creative field. But when it comes to project management, if you want something to run precise, you gotta have project management. And trust me, I've been taught that day in, day out, day in, day out. My mentor, Jay Veal, talks to me about project management on a daily basis, strives project management, because to be successful in this, you have to learn how to project manage.
Right. And how can people work with you if they want a photo shoot, videographer?
If they want to work with me, you could DM me on Instagram. You could also email me at nerdydan513@gmail.com, or you could also reach me at my phone number, which is listed in the bio, 513-364-1420.
Absolutely. So y'all heard it here. Y'all need a photographer. Y'all need a videographer. Capture y'all best moments. Make sure y'all call Dan the man. He says you travel, right?
Yep, I travel.
He tried. And you know what? That's what I meant to say. I love how you're just able to just get up and go. Like, you're just not afraid. Somebody calls you like, hey, I got an opportunity in Atlanta. You like, okay, like when do I have to be there? I love that. Like, there's no hesitation.
I know how to, it's challenging. It's challenging. The main things that I care about is handling my business so I can make it happen.
As you should, and as you do. Okay. Well, before we,
it's the man with the plan. It's Nerdy Dan.
Let them know, Nerdy Dan. But before we get out of here, you know, you have, like I said, you've shouted out at people throughout this whole episode. Anybody else who you forgot to mention, make sure you give them their flowers here and now.
All right, so I want to give my cousin / mentor Jay Veal, owner of Awesome Studios, also known where my headquarters is in Columbus, Ohio, his flowers, because he definitely has had an influence on me, especially with him, one, being my older cousin, but two, also being exposed to the industry in the ways that I want to be exposed in the industry on a professional level. Because without that knowledge, I would feel like I'm walking around without a leash, or I wouldn't even say a leash. I'd be walking around with my head up my behind for the most part, pretty much not knowing how to manage and function because
Right.
without my cousin, I'll be completely honest. I wouldn't be where I am today with this business right now, speaking, to be honest, to be able to have somebody take me in unconditionally, even though families should do that, and to help build and to be patient with me and building this and to see the passion because sometimes family can really be a pain in the ass, and we all know that. Everybody in your family may not be meant for you, but hey, it's just a pleasure to sit here and say that I could be making both of our grandparents proud up in heaven that we really doing this shit together. Excuse my French, but we really doing something that I really love. We ain't got to do it every day. We ain't got to do it all day, every day, but it's there.
And it's
And
getting
it's
done.
just good to be built. It's just good to be building a legacy with somebody in my bloodline and for it to actually be working and for us to actually want it and to be dedicated and determined to it. Because
Yes.
it's good to have two males in the family doing what they got to do to make it happen.
Somebody gave you some flowers. I give my flowers to Nerdy Dan Film. He has shown a lot in the 2 years he has been progressing every year. Shout out to King XL. He's giving you or your flowers. So I love that. Any other person you want to give flowers
XL,
to?
what's up with my special XL?
Hey XL, thanks for tuning in.
The XLio.
Is there anybody else you want to give flowers to? You, like I said, you gave flowers to a lot of
I
people
want to give
tonight.
like I've mentioned, I'm in a frat. I want to give my flowers to my chapter BE down at UC and NKU. I want to give my flowers to Beta Epsilon, the home team. I want to give my flowers to OSU, OSUYO. This is my older brothers at OSU who done grandfathered me into the chapter. Alpha Eta Omega, all the alumni chapter for just allowing me to be able to learn what it's like to take on leadership roles within my organization, which I'm passionate about. I want to shout out my peoples at Double Take Bar and Grill, Aura, all my coworkers that I worked with in nightlife that all just push me, just genuinely love me. Just I want to shout out the city of Columbus that's been supporting me for the most part, genuinely, especially with me being an out of town person. And y'all know I like to pop my 513 stuff everywhere I go. I
Everywhere.
appreciate y'all loving me the way y'all love me, appreciating my kindred spirit. Just always, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for the support, this wouldn't be what it is. Just to be able to build them connections, like in a place that I'm not from, like thank y'all for just making me comfortable in a place where I felt uncomfortable.
And I thank you, Dan. Yeah, he said he's been XL been watching you since you came to Columbus, and you definitely have turned up. I can second that motion.
And also, I want to give a shout out to because I see a couple of my old Q homies from OU on here. I want to shout the rest of the Sigma Side chapter out as well too. I also want to shout out I also got to shout out EI for the one time.
You already know.
Delta Phi. Also, I got to shout out Ada Side. I got to shout out EL as well. And I also got to shout out Phi because y'all my peoples as well too. And I done also built bridges with y'all amongst this. For instance, did a lot of collabs with Earl Hopkins for the most part from Phi chapter. Jawan Ty, who's gonna be on here. We done co-directed a film together for the most part. Did multiple collabs together. He also shout out Kaleidoscope because that was the first OU organization that I actually did do camera work for, thanks to him. So boom, here's your flowers for that. Just shout out to everybody. If I didn't shout you out, you know who you are. You know, it's a whole list. Shout out my home team, the UC Greeks. For sure, for sure. I can't leave my home team hanging, man. For real. I love y'all to death. Shout out, matter of fact, shout out my hood as well, because Uptown, y'all really made this happen, man. This a real Uptown story in the making, and just know I ain't looking back. The only thing I'm looking back for is, hey, matter of fact, the only thing I'm looking back for is nothing because I'm only forward. It's up from here.
Come on, Dan, talk your talk, Dan. Come on. But no, for real, thank you so much for the shout out. Shout out to Earl and shout out to Joanne, who's about to be on the show not next week, but the week after. And Earl, who was my very first show guest and my special. Shout out to them both. And we about to get out of here. This has been an amazing episode. You dropped a lot of gems, super transparent. Make sure you shout out your mama. Mama, he did shout you out earlier though.
I did.
He did.
Shit.
He shout you out earlier. You hopped on after.
Yeah, you hopped on after. Shout out Dukes as well. Sheila Ross.
Yeah, my mom said, "What about your mother?"
Yeah, she was about to call me and bop me upside my head, probably.
You already know. Yeah, no, mama, he shouted you out like at the
beginning. I
shouted
you out. I've been speaking highly on you the whole time.
Well, then make sure you tell us what to look out for. How can people book? Well, not how can people book with you, but shout out your social medias. And we have to get out of here.
My social media is at Nerdy Dan Films, NERDYDAN Films, FILMS, on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Also on Facebook. Website is coming soon. Also, if you want to connect with me on the consultant tip, or just want to collab, just fellowship, follow Sincerely Nerdy, SNICERELYNERDY on Instagram and Twitter as well. If you just want to have a good time, vibe out, get a good laugh, just boom. Just know those are the pages you can reach me at. And if you, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I just had, but hey, I had a
and that's that.
That's
that. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Getting to the Bag, Dan. Like I said, you've been an amazing guest, super transparent. And before we get out of here tonight, I got to shout out my sponsor. Shout out Columbus Black. Shout out to Mile. Make sure y'all tune in next week as well, as we have the director for communications for the Columbus African Festival. She's going to be on here giving us all the culture behind the festival and why everyone should attend. So make sure y'all tune in next week. And before we get out of here, Dan, leave us with a positive note.
May y'all all stay blessed. May y'all allow no weapon formed against y'all to prosper, whether that be the mind, whether it be something physically, or whatever it may be. Don't let it prosper over you, and just keep on striving, because everything is about enjoying your journey of life. Life is too precious to give up. So whatever you have that's near and sincere to your heart, get up, jump off that porch and go get it, because tomorrow ain't promised to nobody. Stay blessed, y'all. I love all of y'all through thick and thin, from a distance, whether I love you, respect you, whether you my friend, whether you an enemy, it don't matter. Just know you the reason I keep going, and I hope that other people are the reason you keep going without them bringing you down. I use all of y'all as building blocks to my success, and I am forever grateful for that.
And Dan is up next, y'all. So make sure y'all keep up with him, book with him, continue to support him, network with him. This is a connected man. So make sure y'all networking. And thank y'all for just tuning in and rocking with me. Like I said, 500 followers. The show page is finally at 500 followers. We might have a giveaway in the works. So make sure. Thank you. So make sure y'all continue to rock with me. I really love the support. I really love the encouragement, for real. It keeps me going. So until next week, y'all already know where to catch us. Tuesdays, we live at 7 p.m. Meet the next generation of young hustlers.
Okay, it's on. Peace.
It's on. Good night, y'all. All right, Dan. Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.